Showing 3 Maliss combos for the post-aligned inside format. All of them trying to get to the same endboard, which is the Echo Talker, Firewall Dragon, 3 draws, and then a GBC set. You just get their slightly different line depending on which cards you open. So this can be the 1 card Dormouse line, so by banishing White Rabbit and then setting GBC. You then make Splash Mage and then go right into the Ransom. Here there's 2 things you could search. You can either search for the Underground, or you could search for Mouse in the Mirror. If you search for Mouse in the Mirror, then you'd have to set TB11. And then the reason you'd search that is because you actually get to end with March Hare in your hand. The only problem is that plays a Nib a little bit harder, so I'm going to be showing this line, which ends up beating Nib. So you search Underground, you then banish the Mirror, and then the Mirror can then banish Dormouse, search out March Hare, and then Dormouse himself back out, make Wicked. So this card is, you previously didn't play this in Maliss because there's no good Cyber tuners to add, but now you get to search the backup Agnister with it. So you get some March Hare, and then you get trigger Wicked 1 and the Ransom 2. So Ransom will then summon out by banishing Chessie, and then Chessie also summons out, and then the Wicked adds Agnister. So the Agnister says if you control Cybers monster from the X check, you get a special from your hand, and then on summon you can add a Dark Cybers monster. So I'll show you guys what this card's going to add in a second. We're going to go Binder to banish the March Hare to add it back to our hand, and then the Chessie to banish the March Hare. So we don't have to use Chessie here. We could keep March Hare. It just depends what you value more. If you value the March Hare in your hand or the 2 draws off of Chessie. So here we're just going to banish it to get the 2 draws. And then we're going to go White Binder to set TB. We're going to use TB, which ends up summoning out March Hare. So we're going to get the March Hare back anyway, just that we keep March Hare in hand, just a little bit more guaranteed. But I still think the draw is probably better, even though it's slightly less safe. So then we just draw a random card off of White Binder. From there we get to make Firewall Dragon, and then we summon the backup Agnister, discarding random card, and then we make the 3 and 2 Cryptor, and then we can activate the Wizard Agnister, summoning out random guy, and then making the Echo Talker. So this card is a Omni, and then it summons as many Cyrus monsters with 2300 attack to the zones it points to. So basically the end board is that we have an Omni off this. We have 3 bounces from the Firewall Dragon, GWC, Cryptor, and then the Firewall Dragon can actually bounce back the March Hare for more follow-up, and then we have 3 draws, and then this was like a 1 card combo, so we still have like 3 other cards in our hand, so we end off with 6 cards in hand. So that's for the first line. The next line is just going to be a 1 card White Rabbit combo. So we're going to start off with normal summon White Rabbit, setting TB11. Now I really like this deck because they all get you to the same place, you just need to sequence them a little bit differently. But it's just nice that all of the 1 card starters all gets you to the same end board. So yeah, so start off the same, banish, summon out. And then here, since in the original combo we used Dormouse to start off by banishing White Rabbit, here since we didn't need to do that, we can use Dormouse now to then banish the Chessie. And then we can use Chessie to banish the March Hare and then draw 2 random cards. And then the March Hare gets added back, but we're not, in the last line we used March Hare to banish. Here we're not going to do that. Instead we're going to just link off into a Lingaribo and then get the banish off of Wicked that way. So we banish the Ransom. Ransom's then going to summon itself back out. There's no reason to banish the card here because we already used White Rabbit, Dormouse, and Chessie. And there's really no point in banishing March Hare because we already did that. So, and we already have Mouse card banished, so we don't need one for Cryptor. So there's just no reason to banish a card off of Ransom. And then here we're going to summon the backup Agnister to grab Wizard Agnister. And then trigger the Wizard Agnister, summon out the Chessie, and then link the Cyrus Wicked and the Chessie off into a Binder. Binder can then set GWC. And then just like before, we're going to make Firewall Dragon, turn 3 into Cryptor. And instead, we activate the March Hare. Instead, previously when we did on Wicked, we're going to do it now, banishing the Binder. Binder summons back out, draw a card, and then turn the Cryptor, Binder, and the March Hare into the Echo Talker. So yeah, once again, same end board, slightly different sequencing. And for the last combo, it's just going to be a 1 card Underground. So Underground, banish Dormouse, banish White Rabbit can then set the TB11, and then go Splash Mage into Dormouse. So this combo is going to be like very different sequencing, because in the previous lines we searched underground, but since we start off with underground, instead we're going to search Maliss in the mirror. So we use TB11 to summon out Chessie, ransom, then summon self out by banishing the March Hare. March Hare can trigger, paying 300 life points, adding self back to the hand. And then here we go into Wicked, and then trigger the March Hare to banish Chessie. And then Wicked 1, Chessie 2, pay 300, summon out, and then search up the backup Agnister. Then we can turn the Cyrus Wicked and the March Hare into Whitebinder. Whitebinder can set the GBUC, and now we're going to trigger the backup Agnister, searching Wizard, and then trigger Wizard to summon out. The reason why we have to do this here is because we want to link the 3 off into Cryptor. That way when we use Chessie to banish the mirror, we can also banish the Whitebinder from the graveyard. And then we gotta search out a March Hare and get the Whitebinder summon. So we summon that out, draw a card, and then here we would turn these 2 into Fireball. We don't get it pointing to 3, instead it only points to 1 because of the way it's sequencing. It's still fine though, it's still a bounce. And then if we draw any normal summon off of our 3 draws, we could keep the March Hare in hand and instead normal summon like an Ash Blossom. But I'm assuming that these are 3 blinks, so assuming that like your hand's literally just like 3 imperms and 3 impulses, you would have to normal summon the March Hare. But if it's literally anything else, like any Charmy, which you main deck 6 of, you could just summon that out and then link the 3 off into the Talk Agnister, because this just requires effect monsters, just not like Cybers monsters. And then summon out the Ransom and the Binder. It's very important that you summon Ransom here and Binder 2 and Binder here, because if you have to use A-Code Agnister first, you want to trigger the Whitebinder so it's live for the GWC. So if you summon Binder here, then the Firewall bounce is dead. So yeah, and then you still end on 3 draws, and then you have the rest of your hand. So these combos are like fairly new. Balance just dropped a couple of days ago, so they aren't super optimized yet, but I still think they're pretty good for now. So I'll be updating as I find more optimized lines. So yeah, that'll be all. See ya.